It's been over 3 months since I've done a 1-5-10 challenge. So if you are a fan of shorter episodes, this is the perfect one because I will be doing a 1-5-10 challenge on 3 out of 12 very random topics that we'll get into. So yeah, let's just not waste any time and just get into it. Okay. So I think what I'll do though is I've already, excuse me, I've already written them up on these little sheets of paper, and I cut them up and I'm going to put them in this little pouch, and then I'll draw them out and we will do 1-5-10 challenge. Again, if this is the first episode that you are tuning in for this format, it's actually an idea that I got from some artist on Twitter who basically gives himself challenges of designing sports jerseys in 1 minute, 5 minutes, and 10 minutes. So I thought, that's a cool idea that you can fit with quite a bit of different things. So I am going to do a 1-5-10 challenge and just use it for topics that I want to talk about. So again, if you're a fan of them or you think it's whatever, I do have previous episodes on it. The last one I had was January, February, March, April 2nd. The 1-5-10 challenge was on NATO soldiers in the West. Prior to that, I had pickles, inflation, and Logan Paul. No, sorry, that was a different one. Cryptos, NBA, and politics. And so I believe this is, is this really only the 3rd episode that we are ever doing this? Yes, it looks like it. Wow. Okay, cool. This is the 3rd episode of doing the 1-5-10 challenge. I feel like I've done it more than that, but I guess not. So if you missed the last episode, I did an overrated, underrated on holidays. So you can feel free to listen to that on, however you're listening to this right now. If you chose YouTube or Apple Podcasts, that's great. Good for you. Google Podcasts. I'm a Spotify guy, so that's where I listen to all of my podcasts. Not myself personally, I listen to other podcasts there. You can see some of the things that I listen to. So, yeah, so one that came up is I saw that I have listeners of this podcast that are listening on a platform called Podbean. I've never heard of that before, so I would love to know, tell me who you are. I don't know. I've just never heard of it. So that's interesting. So, all right, here we go. I'll read them. And as much as there's a couple in here that I really, really, really want to talk about specifically, but it's going to be random. So you can, if you're watching, the bag is empty. And so here we go. So the first one, coins. I think I'm going to do an episode just straight up on coins, whether it's going to be on the Roaming Thoughts podcast or if I'll just put it on the Roaming Colt YouTube channel. But I really want to have just an episode of just talking about coins. So, all right. So the first one in the bag is coins, and then we have TikTok. Next up, we have flight cancellations and Boeing 737 MAX 10. A lot of this is just literally stuff that I've come across today. Like this one, for instance, Pedro Pascal and Burt Reynolds. Next one is, will LeBron win another ring? Whatnot, the app, if you don't know. Paolo Bancheros, is that his name? I hope I have his name right. Banchero. I guess I'll check if I end up drawing that one. Precious metals. Kevin Durant. Physical fitness. Honestly, I hope I don't draw that one. I'm going to be annoyed if I draw that one. Let's see here. Westworld, crazy science fiction series, and inflation, which is one that I really would like to talk about. And if you've seen my Twitter, you will already know why. So I'm going to mix it up. I realized that I don't have anything. I don't know which order or for how long I'm going to be talking about these. So after I draw, then I will draw to see how long I'll be talking about them. So we'll go right in order here. 1, 5, 10 challenge. The first topic that I will discuss is going to be Banchero. Okay, so now I have to look his name up. So let's see here. Banchero. Paolo Banchero. Okay. So if you're not an NBA fan, sorry. Hopefully I'll only draw Paolo Banchero for a minute, because honestly, if I draw him for longer than a minute, this is going to be a very interesting podcast, because I quite frankly just don't know enough about this guy. So, all right. And I'm not even, yeah, okay. Next one, Kevin Durant. Okay, I guess this is going to be an NBA themed 1, 5, 10 challenge. Kevin Durant. I'm disappointed. I'm not going to lie. All right, last one. Will LeBron win another ring? So this is a 100% NBA centered 1, 5, 10 challenge. Yeah, it is what it is. So I'm going to dump all these ones out. I'm not going to lie. I'm so bummed, but I'm a man of my words. So here we go. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tear off a little piece of paper here, and we will see how long I'm going to be talking about each of these. And I'm going to try to make the paper as even as possible. Okay. And I'm going to get a pen, and we're just going to go 1, 5, and 10. 1, 5, and 10. Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, hey, you guys know that this isn't like scripted or really all that pre-planned in any way. So, I mean, there's some authenticity in that, I guess. So, Paolo Banchero is the first topic, and we are going to talk about Paolo for, oh geez, I made these papers way too small. Okay, we are talking about Paolo Banchero for 10 minutes. This has got to be a joke. Oh my gosh. 10 minutes on Paolo Banchero. And watch, I'll bet you I get the LeBron one for like a minute. Okay, where are these papers? Okay. Paolo Banchero for 10 minutes. Kevin Durant for 1 minute. So then that means I get to talk about, will LeBron win another ring for 5 minutes? But I want to get this out of here. Okay, there we go. Buckle up, you guys, because we're in for a ride. Let me get my timer set, and we'll be off and running. Boy. This is, see, and again, one of the reasons why I started this little mini series is because it's also kind of just like a personal challenge for me to see, am I physically able to talk about these topics in this amount of time that I have? So I'm going to go with, we'll set an actual timer. So let's go 10 minutes. And we're going to start it now. Okay, Paolo Banchero. The reason that I put his name in here as a possible topic to discuss was actually because I had watched like a short video clip. Oh, it was on Twitter, and he did some like breakaway 360 dunk. And to be quite honest, like I watched the dunk, and just immediately I thought in my head, like, this guy is going to be a bust. Okay. So if you're not familiar with who this guy is, he was drafted #1 overall by the Orlando Magic in the 2022 NBA draft. And for those, again, maybe you're not a basketball fan and you've still decided to listen to this episode. Thank you. But I'll give you a little background. If you're drafted #1 overall, like, you have all the pressure in the world on you. If you guys know a basketball player by the name of LeBron James, he was also drafted #1 overall. Okay. So there's pressure when, just by the nature of being the first pick in a draft. So this is weird for me because I am a diehard Duke Blue Devils fan, and Paolo played for Duke. So you would think that, like, I would be super biased in saying, like, oh, I think he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. He's just obvious #1 overall pick. I'll admit now that, like, I feel like as I get older, I follow college basketball less and less and less. But honestly, and so, like, that's like, I'm just going to be transparent about that. Like, I'm not coming from a huge wealth of knowledge on this dude, his game, or even the rest of the 2022 draft class. But I watched his 360 dunk, and it looked like I got flashbacks to Jabari Parker, and it was really just Jabari Parker because their body type looks similar. Like in these pictures that I'm looking at of this guy, he doesn't look like Jabari Parker did. Or no, it's not even Jabari Parker that I'm thinking of. Jabari Parker. Okay, a little bit. But I was also thinking of another Duke guy, Jahlil Okafor. Jahlil, I don't even know how to spell his name. There we go. Jahlil Okafor. That is another guy that he reminded me of. And if you know anything about either of these guys, Jahlil Okafor and Jabari Parker did not really go on to have these illustrious, amazing, star-studded, all-star packed, championship-loaded careers. And that's the path that I think this Paolo Banchero is going to end up finding himself on. I mean, I'll give it to him. He's got a nice, I think he's falling into the right type of situation. What's his name? Jamal Mosley is the head coach for the Orlando Magic. And I'm biased, obviously, because he used to be like the stud assistant coach for the Dallas Mavericks. And so in terms of like how I would feel about Banchero getting developed and having the opportunity to succeed, I think like that's a good situation for him. But I also look at Orlando's, and let's go Orlando Magic roster. You look at Orlando's roster, and I just honestly don't, like, it's hard to see if there's an identity here. Because you look at the age of the players, okay, super young team, obviously, but then you also have like, these guys are big. These are big guys. You got Mo Bamba, Bol. The Bol signing was weird, but you have Bol, Wendell Carter Jr. I'm just going down the list here. Jonathan Isaac, Franz Wagner, Mortis Wagner. So you got a couple Wagners that are huge. Like, I don't really believe that there's enough of an identity or direction for the Magic at this point. I feel like it's kind of, they're just sitting back and saying, hey, we've got tons of young talent, but they're almost like, all right, whoever's going to be the dude to step up, like, we'll start forming an identity when that happens. I don't know if Paolo's the guy. It's holy cow, dude's 19 years old. Okay, 19 years old. Geez, that's young. How old am I to think like how young 19 is? Anyway, but yeah, no, I saw this little video clip, and I don't know if it was like Bleacher Report or ESPN or who it was, but they were just like 360 breakaway dunk from Paolo Banchero in Summer League. And I'm like, yes, like call me out on it. Like, I can't do a 360 dunk. Like, on my best day, I can dunk, but like, I'll still call a spade. Like, for a dude that's 6'10", it was not that athletic looking of a dunk. Like, it just looked like there was no energy or athleticism behind it. Again, you know, aside from name recognition, I have poorly followed college sports, college basketball within the last like 5 years. But hey, I said I would talk about Paolo Banchero for 10 minutes, and we've made it 6 minutes. So let me take a sip of water here and gather my thoughts. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, here's something interesting too, and this will actually kind of like fall into the next category, because I said like the next topic is I have to talk about Kevin Durant for 1 minute, which that'll be a piece of cake. But when Kevin Durant had basically made, like, it became public that he's requested a trade from the Brooklyn Nets, Paolo Banchero tweeted out a picture of him in his Orlando Magic jersey and Kevin Durant next to him in an Orlando Magic jersey. And like, I'm trying to think of a scenario where Banchero would have the best possible opportunity to succeed and like bloom into this player that I guess most of the world thinks that he is going to be, whatever. But I don't know if it would be with Kevin. Like, I don't know what the better picture is. Like, all the young, really tall talent in Orlando, or shipping half of that out so that you can get Kevin Durant in, and then you just pick up the pieces with whatever else is left around. I don't think Banchero, I honestly don't think Banchero or any young, like, new player to the league would do well on Kevin Durant's team if you're looking to basically have Banchero be like a next superstar, right? And in this case, I guess that says more, that's me maybe addressing that more towards Kevin Durant than it is Banchero. But like, what situation would be best for him? I would think like, if he could have got drafted to Denver, like the technicalities all aside, like if he would have fallen into Denver's lap, I think playing alongside a guy like Jokic would have been ideal for him. Again, like you get into the size constraint because they're both like bigger dudes, but like Jokic is his passing ability and his ability to space the floor. I think like that would have complemented him, Banchero, well. But gosh, I'm just trying to think of another situation where it would have been a good fit for him. Maybe like Portland, I guess. Portland would have been that would have been cool to see him go to Portland, because you've got Lillard, and if you have I feel like you need a really strong point guard. And it's not saying that Orlando doesn't, because this Cole Anthony guy, like, I think he'll be decent. But geez, if he could have went to Portland, that would have been sick. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I've never really cared to pay much attention to Orlando. Like they've always had players that I'm like, geez, I wish the Mavs would pick up so-and-so, or I wish the Mavs would trade for this guy. But like, I've always felt like Orlando is just irrelevant. And maybe that's why I'm so not interested in the #1 overall pick coming from my favorite college basketball team. You know, now he's in the league. Like I've always had this like, oh yeah, like Austin Rivers or Kyrie or JJ Redick especially. I've always like wanted to follow their career, but right now for this guy, I don't know, maybe as long as he's in Orlando, I just don't really care. But I think hit or miss, he's going to be a bust if I had to pick. Okay, time's up on that one. Wow, Banchero for 10 minutes. All right, we're going to reset the timer to 1 minute for KD. And we're going to do 1 minute here on Kevin Durant. So first off, I was talking with my friend, and we were kind of just throwing out there like the whole KD Kyrie situation. He's a Lakers fan, I'm a Mavs fan, and like I basically put it out there like, yo, it'd be dope if either player went to either of our teams or both. I don't really get what the point is of Kevin asking for a trade and then basically like cutting off all communication with other NBA players. Like, what is he trying to accomplish? I don't really know. Yes, I think it would be so sick to see him in Dallas. I don't even know if it's possible, like what we could offer, but to see Luka, give me like Luka, KD, and either Christian Wood or JaVale McGee, and that would just be entertainment all day with the passing, the scoring, the dunks, like the lobs. KD to Dallas. Okay, darn. That was one that I could have spent some more time on. This one will be fun though. This is the last one in the 1-5-10 challenge. Starting right now, will LeBron James win another ring? If I, just like Paolo Banchero, if I had to say whether he's going to be a superstar or a bust, I said bust. Will LeBron James win another championship ring or not? If I had to say yes or no, I would say no. I don't think, unless LA Okay, even if LA gets, if LA gets KD, like it's just more examples of how maybe not all professional sports, but like the NBA is, I don't want to say rigged because then it sounds like almost conspiracy theory is, but like we've heard from former NBA refs that like the league does direct them to pay attention and be more liberal in their calls during games to push an agenda. And so, like, I'm not going to say KD wouldn't go to LA, but if he did, like, I'd be like, okay, what does this tell you? But if he did, and somehow you were able to have KD, LeBron, and AD, I think that team would have to win a ring. If they would all stay healthy, like, they'd have to win a ring. But I don't see that happening. I don't think LeBron is going to win another ring for the rest of his career, which is really weird to say, unless it comes into some weird situation where like, no, LeBron's never winning a ring because what's going to happen is his son will probably be a lottery pick, which I don't agree with that at all. But like LeBron wants to play with Bronny. And he basically said like, yeah, when Bronny's in the league, like I'm going to whatever team he plays for. Unless Bronny is like a low first round pick that goes to a playoff team. Like, I don't see how LeBron wins a ring because the way LA's roster sits, like, I'm sorry, but I just don't like they're not good enough to go the whole season and throughout the playoffs and win a ring. There's just no way. If I were the Lakers, honestly, if I could know, and I don't think this is the case, because why would KD have asked for a trade? But if I would know that KD and Kyrie actually would like to play together, but for whatever reason they just want out of Brooklyn, I would trade either LeBron or AD over to Brooklyn and try to get that duo. And I thought about it even like further, taking it a step further. And I was like, if I were LA, would I offer LeBron James for Kevin Durant straight up? And yeah, I would 100%. I actually would. I would trade at this point in time. I would, which is crazy because KD's coming off the injury. LeBron is like LeBron. So I don't know. But yeah, I would trade LeBron James for Kevin Durant if I was LA. I don't think he's going to win another ring. And I don't think AD is healthy enough to carry a championship team. Maybe, you know, it had to be LeBron, you know. Yeah, I mean, that's it. Like, he's going to finish out in LA. Whenever Bronny gets drafted, he's going to go there. And I just don't see that being a situation where there'll ever be a ring involved. Because, I mean, I just don't see it happening. I don't think, even if it is a situation where, let's say a playoff team drafts Bronny and LeBron comes in, I don't even know how, like when Bronny is draft eligible, like 2 years from now, maybe, or next. I don't even know next year. I don't think he's going to be ready. 2 years, let's say. You got to imagine, like, what is LeBron going to physically be able to bring to the table in 2 years? I don't know. I don't know, but I think if he goes, let's just say like Denver, Milwaukee, or something, where there's a pretty good young player, like, I don't know, Dallas, it would be a really weird role that he would take because I don't see him. Yeah, he'll probably be a starter within 2 years. It's weird to think 2 years from now, but I don't see LeBron. I mean, it would have to be like some type of like Boston Celtics type big three move to get LeBron in a situation where they're going to take one last shot at a ring. But yeah, I would, if I were to guess yes or no, will LeBron James win another ring? No way. So that's it, you guys. Again, nice short episode because the 1-5-10 challenge is set up to be that way. I'm not going to lie, I'm super bummed. So honestly, I'm probably just going to end up doing another episode. Like I like to space them out, but come on, I haven't done one since what, April? So I might just do another 1, 5, 10 challenge and throw it out there. Or I guess one word opinions. But again, some of these topics I really, really wanted to hit on for, more than 1, 5, or 10 minutes. But who knows? Maybe I'll just do a one word opinion on them. I've only got 9 topics there, so I'll probably need to come up with some more. We'll see what I decide to do. These are the roaming thoughts. So yeah, appreciate you guys for listening or watching. And yeah, until next time, thanks.